In this video, we will create a nice spacing and we will discover particles. So we'll create an asteroid field. The first thing that we might think of, that we might take care of, it's here adding a UV sphere. This will be our basic planet here. So maybe I will scale this up 5 times, okay? Make a shade smooth, okay? Add a subdivision matte with Control 2 here, just to have a basic planet here. So this one will be our planet. Nice. Now we can add something else. It will be the generator of the asteroids. So it might be something near here, okay? Let's say. So it will create the asteroids, and the asteroids will go somewhere around here, the sphere, to create a nice circular shape like that. So this is what we want to create over there, okay? So I will just make Ctrl Z. We will continue with that. So this one will be generator, okay? And here we will add in a new collection, we will create some really basic objects to make the asteroids. So we'll go with simple things in the beginning, and then in the end, if I have time, I will create the entire space and everything with the texturing that might make the entire scene looks better. But for now, we'll just play with basic things. So let's go with here it will be the asteroids, okay? And I will just hide the first two here, and I will add there. Here you have into the extra, you have the rock generator, as you can see. It creates basic objects just like that. What I want to do is go into the detail near just one, might be enough for this. We might increase the roughness to have something a little more interesting. Let's say near 3 might look good, okay? So just to have this. And so we will create not only one rock, but we will create maybe 8 different shapes to have something more interesting in the end, okay? So let's play with a new seed until we have some interesting shapes over there, okay? So let's say we have this. What we can do is just with GX move all these objects to see a little the shapes that they have, okay? And see if it will work well. In my opinion, it looks good. So let's play with that. Okay, maybe some are too similar. I would say that these two here are really too similar. So what you can do, you can just create really different shapes just by going here and just move one vertex, as it's still here something that is made with modifier, so it's non-destructive here. So don't hesitate to create more crazy shapes here, over there, okay? It might make the shapes more random like this, okay? And then you can apply all the modifiers. So to apply a lot of modifiers, you can see that you have already a lot of modifiers in a lot of objects. So what you can do, you can go into Edit Preferences, go into the add-ons here and search for modifiers. If you don't have it, you go into Get Extensions and you put it here. So you will find the modifier tools. You install that. And when it's installed, you will have a list here. So you can just use the apply all for all these objects. Okay, and now you will have this just like that. So I recommend you to apply these modifiers like this. It will not slow down too much the the scene, okay? So this we can hide it for now and go now start to make our basic simulation. So for this we have the particle system. The particle system is not in the list here, but it's very powerful simulation system that can create animated duplicated objects with some options. So let's go there and we will just add a particle system over there. So basically what it's make, it will make 1000 particles. The frame start at 1, frame finished at 200, and the lifetime will be 50. So basically it will look like this. It will create some particles, okay, and there will be 1000 as a total. They will have a lifetime of 50. That's why they stop there. If I increase the lifetime here, you can see that they will continue more and go more here like this, okay? And here you have basically the frame start and the frame end, okay? So what we will do, we will create a simulation with, let's say, 500 frames, okay? So we'll play until 500 here. And we will continue with by increasing the lifetime because we don't want the lifetime to be only 100. So maybe we will play with 500 like this. We are sure that they will continue to live the entire scene. And basically, maybe we will not want to play with death settings. Maybe until here might look enough, until 200 and after stopping. So like this, the end of the simulation will play after with the particle that will continue to live. Okay, good. So what we can do now, as we have this, we can create some motion into that. So by default, you can see that the particles goes out from the sphere, from the faces of the sphere. And here you have the source options. So you see that they go out from those faces and with some distribution objects here, distribution options here. You have some velocity that you can put into it. So if you increase the velocity into the normals, for example, you will have something that will make more velocity to go out from this object, and after with the gravity they will go down. As we are in a sphere, as we are in space here, we don't want gravity, so we'll go into the sand properties, into the gravity, and remove it by put everything at 0 here. Now it will make something different. As you can see, the particles will go out like this and no gravity, so we will have start of something. Now we would like to add a force field. So this force field will be a vortex, and this vortex will be in the center of the planet here. So just to be sure of the orientation, okay, the orientation is good. Maybe you can rotate this a little to see a little how it will look with this shape. Okay, it's not that bad. So it will basically turn around this object now, as you can see. What is good is sometimes animate this object itself. You can see that it will create nice motions and can be sometimes interesting as well, okay? Something that can be important as well is adding some noise into that. So sometimes it's inside the object itself. So if you go into the physics here, you will see some noise amount. So you can increase that. Let's go in 10, something a little crazy. You can see that it creates something really strong. Me, what I like to do and I prefer to work with this option here. I prefer to work with just the turbulence here. So you just increase the strength of it. Let's go with 20 and we will see, yeah, basically it gives better results in my opinion, okay? So just increase the strength until you find something that is good, okay? You can see that now the direction of the asteroids are more interesting, okay? So maybe it's a little too much and create too crazy shape now, but let's keep it at 20. I would say that it will create something interesting, okay? Good. We have a little too much. We have a little too much here. Velocity, I would say that we could keep that at 5 maybe, or even 3. Like this, we will keep the shape that looks better. Nice. So what we would like now is to create something. You can see that now we have nice motion. So yeah, it looks good basically. We can keep that. Maybe decrease a little the turbulence because it's too much again. Maybe decrease it at 10. Okay. And now we will keep this motion and yeah, basically it looks nice. The next thing that we want to do is to create the shape. So by default is just some basic particles that will not look good in render. What we want is have the asteroid. So let's go for this and we go into the here the particle settings of this object. Now we will go into the render tab. The render tab by default is halo, but you can create object if you want, or an entire collection, and that's what we want to do. So let's create this option and select the asteroid collection. So now we have the asteroids. You can play with the extras here and play with the scale as well. So the scale and the scale randomness are important here. You can increase the basic scales of all the objects, and you can decrease the scale, increase the scale randomness to have some big and some little, okay? Something like that might look good. Maybe I increase a little this. Good. So now we have something interesting. In case you want, you can even add some collision objects. Like for example, let's say that we have another planet here and that this planet is here and it will go through. So what you can do, you can just go there into the physics tab and play with the collision, okay? And you see that you have some particle options, so it will work with particles. What you can even do is say that, let's say we play the animation now, you can see that they will bond into this object now. So it can be interesting in some cases. Or you can tell they will explode and disappear into the atmosphere, so you can kill the particles. And each time they will touch, they will just disappear. Okay? So some will go through, but not too much. So it can be interesting in some cases. But basically, here, what we would want to continue with, here is the options of the particles here, is play with the rotation of the objects here. They are really not that interesting here. So we would like self-rotation into that. You can see that here I didn't change anything, so it didn't update. So what you just have to do in that case, if it doesn't update like that, you just go there and change a little something here, like for example here like that, and now it should look good. You just play a little with a slider and it will come back into it. It will update. Good. So now we have basically what we want. As I said, we want to play with the rotation. So let's go back into here the options, and we will play with the self rotations here. So what we would like is play with the velocity amount here. So let's play with that. Now we should have more interesting things. We can play with the phase here and the randomized phase and the dynamic. And now you can see that you will have something that will rotate on itself. If you want to make the simulation less fast, for example, you could add another object, another force field here, and the force field is the drag, okay? And it will decrease the simulation velocity, the entire speed of the simulation. As you can see now, you will have something that will really make the simulation really different, okay? So the drag can be interesting in some cases, okay? And yeah, basically into the simulation range here, you can change some settings as well, but not for that one. So yeah, let's say that we will keep that. Maybe we could decrease a little the strength of this to have something less strong. But for what we have here, it will work as it is, okay? So basically now we have our animation and our objects that works well with our simulation. Now what we would like to do is create a nice scene with a nice render. So we will just do this with Eevee. So let's go for the shading, and for this we just need already some light. So let's go for this, a light and an HDRI setup. So let's go for this with the sun here, over there. We will create a nice sun, strong, so might be near 3 or 5, between 3 or 5, I would say that it will be good. Okay, let's go into render tab here. We will have something like this. Now I would like to increase to have a nice HDRI. So for this, I have a nice one that I did share to you already, I think. It's inside animating a logo. Here you have the HDRI, multi-nebula HDR. So let's go for this. We will just add this into our scene. So let's go there. We just click on color. We just go into environment texture, or use the HDRI here, the easy HDRI like this. You just select the right folder. So let's go for this. I just copy and paste the right folder and accept this. So it will find this, create a world node, and you will have a nice space around your scene. So just like this, it will create something really realistic and looks good by default. So let's continue with that. And now what we would like to do is adding the textures into the planet. So we'll do something really simple that works, that is pretty efficient. Let's go into the shading option here, over there, and let's play a little with the options. So we'll create this planet shader, okay? We will add a texture. This texture will be a noise texture. This will be, I would say, an hybrid multifractal. Okay, we can just see a little this texture by default, how it looks. So we'll increase the gain. Should be strong, I would say. Increase the roughness as well. Increase the details and increase the scale. Okay. So, and by playing with these options, you should have something interesting. Yeah, it's the rigged multifractal. Okay, here you can see that you have something a little more interesting. Maybe the scale is too big, like for example 10 might be good. Yeah, and with this we can create already interesting things. So you just have to, now that you have this kind of nice pattern, as you can see, you can just add here a new converter, and this one will be a color ramp. Is to create the entire planet color. Okay, So let's go for it. Now, what we would like to do is just play with the sliders, okay? And here you will find really interesting shapes. So we will go with, let's say, 2, 3, 4, 5 sliders might be enough to have something interesting, okay? So the first color, it really depends of what you want to do with your planet. But let's say you will have a dark, something darkish like this. We will go with a desert planet, something like that, okay? Good. The second one here, we will play with another one, might look a little more sandy. Okay, another one here as well. So this one, and just play with some variations that looks interesting to you, okay? For example, here I go with something reddish here and a little darker. This one here will go with something a little different, maybe some green, not that much, okay? And play with the sliders until you have something more interesting. And that one here might look a little different as well. Okay, maybe the green is not good in that area. I will tell something like a more yellowish. Okay, and that one maybe something a little different. Yeah, something bluish in that case, in my opinion, might look better. And then after you just play with the different sliders that you have, this one needs to be more dark. Something like this looks good, okay? And then after you just add something to play with to create a kind of atmosphere. So what you can do is remove here the IOR to have this kind of shader here. Maybe the scale is too big, maybe 5 might look a little better, even 3 maybe. Yeah, the details. Okay, decrease a little the details. Good. Rockness, increase that. Okay, you have something interesting in that area. What you can do as well is playing with the displacement, for example, if you want to add some. But first of all, I would like to add here a little effect that will create the atmosphere, very simple. So now we will search, we will add an input node. And this one will be a Fresnel, okay? So you can play with this one over there. So the Fresnel basically adds this kind of effect here. I will play it with a color ramp, okay, to have this kind of effect like this, okay? And we will add this into the color. So basically you can add this into with a new shader. Okay, so it will be another principle like this. That will be maybe something blue with a lot of rockness, and you will mix these two. So basically you will have this one that looks like this and this one that looks like that. And what you would like to do is create a mix shader. And this will be the mix between the two. Okay, so it's a little texture. It's a texture setup that might work for all the planets that you want. Now, in case you want, you can just add here some color options like the hue saturation value if you increase the saturation, for example, or play with the hue if you want different color of your planets. Okay, you can play with these options. So basically you will have a shader that looks like that. Okay, just maybe increase that a bit, or go with something more reddish as it's a red planet. And then after you play with these options here to add more or less, okay? So basically here you see that you have, yeah, this kind of option. Okay, let's say that our planet looks good. So now we have this planet and we would like some nice asteroids. So for this, we will play with just some basic textures as well. So let's go for the rock here. And into these rocks, we can just go there to see a little the result directly, hide the rests. Okay, so we want something really simple with a basic material, basic shader again. We will play with a texture. Okay, this texture will be again the same noise texture that we did use. So the rigged multifractal, okay, like this. Increase the number of detail, increase the roughness, increase the gain, good, and play a little with the scale, just like that. So just to have a basic texture that looks interesting, okay, the scale might make it something more interesting as well. Okay, good. So we just have a basic color like that. You can play with the colors, but mostly we will play with the normals and the displacement if needed. And we will add another one, another texture. This one will be a Voronoi texture, like this. And we will add some damage into this. So let's go with a converter, color ramp. We want some dots. Yeah, something that looks a little like this. Okay, just to create some kind of damage into that. So let's mix that. There's two textures with a color mix, and now we will have this kind of texture. Basically, what we would like is just create a multiply. Like this, we will have the two that will overlap only the dark values of the texture. So it doesn't have to be the color here, but the factor, okay, to have this kind of here, like that. What we would like is something more grayish for the first one. So for the color, I will go again with the converter color ramp, and maybe that one might be a little more gray. Something like this might look okay for what we want to do. And now I will play with a vector bump. So this bump here, I will plug the height here, and I should have now some normals that looks more or less like this, okay? So in case you see I want to increase that, so be careful to keep the realism, not too much. Maybe just a gray might look better, okay? But you can increase or decrease all of these textures to make it work more interesting, okay? So now I can plug this into the normals, and now I will have this kind of shader in the end, okay? Looks more interesting, right? More like something with roughness and more realistic for what we want to do. Good. So basically, this one will be the asteroids. And you can even plug the color if needed with another color ramp here. For example, you could even plug the colors here, and by play with different colors, like maybe something more brown if needed, something like that might work well. You can see that it works pretty well. Now I will play with all these rocks. So what I will do, I will select the rocks, all of them, and this one at last, and make Ctrl L handling the materials like this. They will share the same material like that, okay? And now we will have the right shader. So let's come back without the asteroids, come back into the collection here, and now you will have this nice scene that works perfectly with the asteroids around, as you can see, okay? So what you could do to add a little more definition to that and maybe make more the space glow effect, you can add some compositing into that. So I will show you how it works basically more in an entire chapter. The last chapter will be some compositing examples, but here let's just add a simple node, very simple one, just to create and see it directly into the 3D view. So to see it directly into the 3D view, what you can do, you go into the render here, and just to be sure that you will see that, just use the compositor always. So by default, now everything that you will add between these two nodes will create an entire effect for the scene. Me, I will just want to add filter glare, just simple like that. And this glare will be something that will be bloom. I will just go into the highlights, decrease the threshold, and you can see that you have this nice glow effect that will appear as you go in lower values here, okay? As you can see, it works pretty well. More you have some light, more it will appear. So be careful with these settings. With the settings, not too much is important. And what you can do as well here, maybe increase a little the shader of this one. So if you want to see that, be careful to enable this, okay? Let's select a rock, and I will just maybe add the shader to itself. Like this, it will glow a little more. As you can see now, you can see that it will take some time until it comes. Yeah, so now we have basically what we want. What you can do as well to make this scene a little more realistic is increase here the motion blur. So now when you will play this, you can see that you will have some nice motion blur that will appear, especially in render. So be careful, it might slow down a little your computer, but it looks already far better. So you can see that now you have a nice asteroid field that go around the planet just like this, okay? So that's it for this one. You can see that there is some texturing as well, just to make it a little more realistic and to have some better thing into the eye. But at least you have how to create a basic space scene just like this. So that's it for this one. In the next video, we will see how to simulate rigid bodies.